Welcome to the NCDWI Guide podcast, where defenders of the Constitution assemble to prepare for courtroom battle and firm owners gather to develop marketing strategies that will revolutionize the practice of criminal defense. Here's your host, the NCDWI guy, Jake Minnick.
Hello, fellow freedom fighters, and welcome to episode 119 of the NCDWI Guy podcast. On today's episode, we are talking about maximizing your firm retreat. Whether you've got an annual retreat coming up with your firm planning session, you're doing some sort of firm event or outing, I think this episode is really going to be helpful in terms of trying to kind of think through logistics on that, understand the benefits of having this time together as a team. So whether you've got one other person at the firm with you, firm of 10, whatever your size may be, I really think there is a ton of value of getting outside the office and hanging out with your teammates. So we're going to talk about the value and some of the ways to maximize your firm event. We have talked about this on episode 21. We talked about the importance of an annual marketing retreat. That was a very short episode that I did right before our 2020 retreat in Wilmington. So go check that out, episode number 21. There's some good tips and tricks, and it's a very short episode, so I think easy to listen to. So we just got back. It's Monday. Just got back from our firm retreat that we had Thursday through Saturday of last week. And let me tell you what, it was incredible. Just an awesome retreat. Maya, who is in our Gastonia office, did a ton of planning to pull off this retreat, and big shout out on her end for all of the work and thought that went into making this such an amazing event. But it was incredible. So I'm just going to talk about, first of all, what we did as a team to kind of give you a sense of what we did on our retreat, and then talk through a couple of practice points and tips for how to maximize these events for your firm, as well as why I think they are so valuable to your team's growth. So we started off the retreat by heading to Gaston College in Gastonia, North Carolina, near Gastonia, North Carolina. Went to Gaston College and did a mock trial day. We do quarterly mock trial days. So we did our third quarter mock trial day live in person in Gaston College. And the focus of the mock trial day was doing voir dire with a mock jury. So we had other people that were on the team, as well as their family members, sit on the mock jury and basically went through voir dire. And it was incredibly powerful. There's so much value in getting really good at voir dire. I think it is one of the most complicated areas of a jury trial, doing the voir dire examination of potential jurors. To me, there is so much nuance and expertise that can go into that. You can get, as detailed as having, experts that come in and help you in selecting the jury. But if you're an attorney that has done 50 mock trials, then 50 trials, you've probably got a pretty good sense of how to do jury selection. You've seen enough. You've learned things. You've kind of changed up the way you do things to get better at jury selection. So there is a lot of value that comes with experience. But our focus really was just getting our team comfortable with doing mock trial. And the easiest way to do that is just to practice. One reason I think a lot of attorneys are nervous, I know this is one of the reasons that I was nervous about taking a case to superior court, was all of the interaction with the jury and not understanding how that worked and what you're allowed to ask and how you're allowed to ask and what the process is for doing that. So mostly what we were trying to do is just get comfortable with doing voir dire. It's not that complicated at its most basic form, but it is incredibly intimidating and scary because you don't want to do something that you've never practiced before. So that was kind of the main intent of our doing this mock trial day is just, again, to get comfortable with doing jury selection and going through that process in a kind of courtroom feel that we had set up. So that went off really well. I thought it was an incredibly productive, one of our better mock trial days. Lance Williams, who is the attorney in our Gastonia office, is the one that organizes most of these things. And he was the one that picked voir dire as the topic for our mock trial day. And it was just incredible. So we had 2 mock juries that we sat through, a lot of great tips, a lot of great practice that came out of that. And then we were done with the training. So after we finished the training, we headed over to the Pita Wheel, which is in downtown Gastonia. Great restaurant if you're ever in the Gastonia area. Just delicious food. But we hung out there for a couple of hours and celebrated Maya's birthday. She was the one organizing the retreat again, and it was her birthday. So we got to go out there and celebrate her birthday. But it was awesome. We were sitting around at the tables. We were talking, and I was talking with the fellow that was doing our photography through the weekend. We'll talk about that in a little bit in terms of importance of having a photographer around. But I was talking with him, and everybody was just having a good time talking. And there was this table of people, strangers that we didn't know, sitting over here. And I didn't even notice them until one of the people came up to the table that James and I were sitting at. And he basically just looked like a hipster guy out of Gastonia, just a cool looking dude. But he came up to the table and he was like, "Hey, can you tell me what's going on here? Well, what are you guys doing?" I was like, "Oh, we're having a work retreat. We're here for the next couple of days. Just hanging out." He's like, "Man, I cannot believe it's so crazy to see you guys interacting like this." He was like, are you guys hiring? Like, this is incredible. What a cool place to work. And it was just awesome to see from an outsider's perspective, the camaraderie that is going on with the team in those moments. Cause you just kind of get used to taking that for granted. And so that was just a really cool way to kind of start the retreat of having that kind of outsider's perspective of there is something really special going on with this group of people. And again, something that we at the office, I think, take for granted because it is just an incredible group of people and culture that I feel like we have been able to grow and develop through a lot of trial and error, and then a lot of intentionality. So that was just a blast. We then headed over and checked into the hotel. And let me tell you, if you're ever looking for a hotel to host a retreat at, here's the hotel you need to do it at. It's the Esquire Hotel in Gastonia, North Carolina. Boutique hotel, gorgeous, beautiful hotel in Gastonia, North Carolina. Extremely reasonably priced for the very glamorous rooms that they have at this hotel. This same hotel in Asheville would go for double the cost nightly of what it's going at per night in Gastonia. So you kind of luck out by the location, but it's awesome. Whether you want to take your wife or husband on a cool overnight getaway, or you want to go find a place to do a family reunion, you want to go find a place to take your team, it's the Esquire Hotel. Lawyer-themed hotel. It's in the old lawyers building in Gastonia, North Carolina, and it is gorgeous. Tons of marble and just amazing architecture. They took the lawyers building and have converted it into a hotel space. Beautiful bar set up on the ground floor with lawyers building written over the bar. So we got some awesome pictures in front of that, but just this incredible place to have a firm retreat because it's lawyer themed. The main restaurant in the hotel is Barrister's. So there you go. Barrister's. That's where we celebrated our firm dinner. Second night of the retreat, breakfast every morning in the basement at the Notary breakfast spot. Food was amazing at the Notary. Food was amazing at Barrister's. The hotel front staff was incredible. So just kudos, shout outs to the people that served at the Esquire Hotel, all incredibly friendly, helpful, surprise and delight attitude. I mean, just an incredible group of people there at the Esquire, and they made the stay really fun. It is a very small hotel. I think they have like around 36 rooms. So again, it's not this kind of overwhelming feel. We really felt like we were the only people at the hotel. There may have been some other people staying there. I don't know. I didn't see anybody else. So get there while the getting is good, because it is gorgeous. Check them out online. I'm gonna give them a huge shout out, because it was a sweet spot to do it at. Beautiful rooms, great food, beautiful setup, awesome outdoor patio seating area with lights overhanging and lots of ivy. And again, you just feel like you're the only people there at the spot. So it was a cool spot, and all lawyer themed. So no better place to do a retreat than that. So checked into hotel, and then that night we went by charter bus, which was awesome. Charter bus into Charlotte to play Top Golf at or to play golf at Top Golf in Charlotte. And I've never done Top Golf before. Huge fan. It was a blast. Driving a golf ball is therapeutic, but the setup there was a really great setup for us. Again, this was all organized by Maya. So this is definitely her project and kind of planning that got this off, but a very cool, relaxed atmosphere at Top Golf to be able to kind of do something together with other people, but also have a lot of time to just chat and talk. We had 5 bays at Top Golf, about 5 or 6 people at each bay, people on the team and their family members. And so basically, we played a round with everybody that was in that bay. And then we were able to switch it up one time and kind of play with a new set of people. So we really got, I feel like, a lot of good connection with other people at the office. Great downtime, very, very easy. I don't play any golf, so this is not something that, requires, tons and tons of skill. Certainly if you swung a golf ball before, you got an advantage, but it's a really good place to just have kind of a fun activity going on while also having a really great space to be able to converse. We did a catering for dinner on that Thursday night, and that food was at Top Golf was great. So again, event planning, if you're near Top Golf, I would highly suggest that as a great place to be able to have something fun to do as a team, but also be able to kind of interact with people kind of outside of the office space. So just a blast at Top Golf, and got to have a lot of personal connection over the 3 hours that we were there with other people that were on the team. Went back to the hotel that night. I pretty much went to bed. I was spent by that point, but a couple of the people on the team were gangsters and stayed up, I think, until like 2:33 in the morning. Actually, quite a few people on the team. So a lot of people pulled a late night. I got to get up early on Friday and hit a run with a couple of people at the retreat, Henry and James. So we got a run in, and then went and grabbed breakfast at the Notary. Got some time to talk with other people on the team during breakfast. We didn't really start anything the next day until 11, but got some time to talk with other people in the restaurant. So just some good downtime, good hangout time in the morning. And then at 11, we went to the Whitewater Center. And the Whitewater Center never may have been there one time like 15 years ago just to eat dinner, but never been rafting or done any of the activities there. And I did not remember or realize how big and amazing that space is. They've got zip lines, they have rope courses, biking paths, running trails, clearly the rafting and whitewater experience. But that was such a good space for us to do something kind of outside of our ordinary environment. Very challenging on the ropes course. That was by far the most challenging experience. But again, just some really good downtime to hang out with different groups of people. A couple people, either because of injuries or other things going on, weren't able to do all of the activities. And so, there was just a group of people kind of for whatever you were up for. And a lot of great space to kind of sit down and relax, a lot of great space to go and engage in the activities that they had going on. So again, in terms of team activity, great place, in my opinion, to do a team activity at the Whitewater Center there in Charlotte. They have, I think, actually some like team building experiences, but you can just kind of go it without too much of a organizational path, which is what we took. We got some, I feel like some really good team building going on the ropes course. We got some team building going on the rafting. Again, some good downtime, having a beer and some food in the restaurants that they have there at the Whitewater Center. So just a beautiful place outdoors. It was hot as heck in July in Charlotte. So maybe that's not the ideal time to go. Certainly the Whitewater late in the day felt good, but great place to go spend some time with the team. So if you have any type of like outdoor adventure area, again, I feel like getting out of the office environment into nature with your team is a really cool change of pace, change of scenery, something that's kind of, a physical experience or an experience in nature really takes you outside of your comfort zone. Most of us are interacting with each other in kind of a building, right? Like inside and looking over paperwork and computers around and all that. So getting into nature just takes you completely out of your comfort zone. Same thing at Topgolf, just that kind of experience of being outside. Glorious day at Topgolf, beautiful sunset. I mean, it just really kind of provides a different environment to interact at than, to me, even just like sitting in a restaurant or doing something that is inside. It kind of gets you outside of that comfort zone. So highly recommend the Whitewater Center. So after that, head back to the hotel. I think a lot of people took naps after that because it was exhausting. Those ropes courses are hard. The whitewater rafting was way more difficult than I was expecting. Just a crazy experience there. But I think everybody with the sun and all of the physical exertion going on at the Whitewater Center was ready to come home, take a nap. So we left there about 4, got back to the hotel about 5, and then had some time there at the hotel. Before we did a dinner experience that night. So we did the dinner in the Barristers. The hotel staff knocked it out of the park there at Barristers, crushed it. Very great setup, good food. We kind of had like a private event, so the whole restaurant was ours. Just glorious spot to do a dinner. So highlight of the dinner was we got to surprise Lance, who is celebrating 10 years here at the office, with a special song. His son Colin keyboarded for us. We did a spinoff of Michael's goodbye song from the Office show. And so definitely didn't sound like they did it on The Office. We didn't hit every note quite the way that we would have hoped, but it was so much fun and such a cool thing. So a lot of people planned for this event. I think we kind of knocked Lance's socks off with that experience, and it was just such a cool way of kind of celebrating together. Lance is being a part of the team. And all the contribution that he has brought. So just a really great finish. Stayed up again pretty late on Friday night, hanging out in the patio area, just talking away. Being able to just sit down and have the ability to kind of unload each other's personal lives and kind of get to get under the surface a little bit with people. It really is something that inside the office context or whatever kind of in-office retreat goes on, you just can't do until you kind of do something outside of the office and have like a significant amount of time to get to know the other people that are on your team. So a couple of tips and takeaways from the retreat. One is, so again, on my last podcast, episode 21, we talked about the importance of an annual marketing retreat. And I will say when I made a mistake, say when there's something to be learned. There's nothing wrong with having a marketing retreat, having a retreat where you kind of focus on how can you build your business better. But what I will say to me has provided even more value than kind of these out of office experiences where we maybe try to take our business to the next level is having a space where we can just have downtime together, have time to get to kind of know each other personally and develop those personal relationships. And so I would kind of just slightly tweak that and say there's an importance to having an annual retreat. Doesn't have to be marketing focused. It doesn't have to be focused on kind of building your doing some sort of crazy team building exercises or focusing on how you can prove your branding and marketing as a firm. I really think that these kind of opportunities for personal relationships to grow and have this organic feel to them is really kind of more important than that kind of marketing or brand building side of things. It's kind of like when we when we want to see our clients as a human being versus as a file. You have to get to know your client in order to do that. Same thing is true with your coworkers, with your team. If they're just a coworker, somebody that you're kind of working towards a common goal in the office, you can do a lot with that. But when these people become your friends, when these people become you get to really see the human side and kind of understand what difficulties and challenges are facing them, in their current moment in terms of family life, home life, what activities that they're involved in. You really have a deeper respect for that person and a much more sense of camaraderie with that person in those personal connections than you would over any kind of great work that comes out of the office, any kind of mutual experience on a case. I think that there is so much more growth that comes out of these personal relationships that can happen much more quickly in one of these retreat moments. And again, obviously you can't take a retreat every weekend and nobody probably would want to do that. We've all got busy lives. We've all got things to do. But there was just so much joy, fun that happened during this marketing retreat, or during this retreat, not marketing retreat, during the retreat, that I feel was just, again, kind of this exponential growth kind of comes out of something like that, due to the fact that you're just building that relationship one-on-one with other people. And for us, that's super important because we have offices in different spaces throughout North Carolina. So we don't really, a lot of attorneys don't have the opportunity to kind of interact with all the staff on a daily basis, with other attorneys, and certainly don't have a chance to really see them in person very often. So again, just that ability to be in the same space, to kind of have each other's full attention, but not be focused on something that is work related, was so helpful in terms of growth. So takeaway number one is you don't need a marketing retreat. There's tons of value to come out of just having time set aside to grow together on a personal level and develop those individual personal connections. Number two, go all in on the experience. If you're going to do an event, if you're going to do a firm gathering, or go in and have a dinner together, make it special. Make it something that is more than just kind of this kind of checkbox item. None of the stuff that we did outside of the mock, I didn't really organize much of anything, actually. Even the mock trial, that was Lance. So, but there was so many people that kind of worked to make this a very kind of special feel to the whole event, whether it's the hotel that we were staying at being lawyer themed, the different events that took place, Top Golf, the Whitewater Center, make that special. When we went to Top Golf, we all wore our Minnick Law t-shirts. So what we have 3 t-shirts currently that either have our mission, our motto, or our core values on them. So we had 3 different colors of t-shirts, but all with Minnick Law on the back. So it was clear we're there together as a group. Just make it special. Try to find a way to make that experience unique. And I would say go high class, as opposed to trying to kind of like, elongate everything and just kind of have something where you're in the same space for a long period of time. Kind of go to the top level of what you can do and make that experience really stand out in the mind of your team. I think that there is so much value in kind of having that special experience together. So go high end, again, don't have to go crazy, but make it special, make it something that is unique, as opposed to just a a lunch outside of the office, or going to some sort of local thing that you do, every couple of weeks. Make it special, make it something that is memorable, because there's an emotional connection that can be built, I feel like, in that kind of experience mode, that just can't be built in this kind of normal time together away. Third thing is capture that experience with a photographer. At the last couple of marketing retreats, I keep saying marketing retreats because I'm just in the habit of saying that. At the last couple of retreats, we have had a photographer involved in capturing the experience. And we had a photographer, the same one that was with us in Wilmington, was with us at this retreat, James Rizell, with Beautiful Life Films. Highly recommend him. He's a close friend of mine, so I will just put that out there. But he's really good at what he does. He mostly does weddings and that type of thing, but has certainly done corporate events as well, and has just knocked it out of the park. Very kind of organic, behind the scenes feel to him, but capturing some really cool pieces. I think he took about 1,300 photos. We also got a bunch of B-roll of the different experiences that we had. So, very easy to work with, very behind the scenes, but also will kind of set up shots to kind of capture the moment. So he just, captured every experience. He was at the mock trial. He was at the Top Golf. He was at Whitewater Center. He was at our firm dinner. Just constantly, figuring out some cool spaces to take shots. And I think he was having a dream day there in the Lawyers Building, because it was, again, just a beautiful venue to be doing this at. But don't lose that opportunity to take pictures. I'm so bad, whether it's with my family or at the firm, of taking pictures. And I feel like pictures, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Maybe a film or B-roll is worth 1,000,000. I don't know exactly how that calculates, but being able to showcase your personality, whether it's on social media, whether it's just internally, and being able to, we kind of share these pictures regularly at the office of different past experiences. It's cool to be able to have that kind of memory of everything that is going down. And we had plenty of people, plenty of teammates that at the office that were using their iPhones to record video, take pictures. Several people were posting during the event. So it's not as though there was just no other photography getting taken care of, but I'm not a picture taker. And so there's just a value of knowing we're getting all of these events captured. We're kind of capturing this experience that we're having together, and you don't have to worry about kind of constantly thinking, oh shoot, I need to kind of take something so we can remember this down the road. It's to me a incredible asset to have somebody there that is kind of walking through that with you and capturing that for developing your firm organically. So highly recommend having a photographer, having a planner. If you're not kind of a details oriented person, having a planner, somebody that knows kind of how to plan logistically, is huge. I am a big picture person. Details are not my kind of top quality. It's very far from it. Follow up with different kind of venues and the people that you're working with at each venue. I'm not good about getting back to people and kind of providing that follow up, or pricing and getting payment and all those type of things. So having somebody, if you have somebody at your firm that is more of that kind of detail oriented person, having them involved in the event planning can be huge. Maya did an incredible job planning this event. Stephanie in our Asheville office has helped with some of our past retreat venues and just crushed them. And it's so helpful to have somebody that is detail oriented to be able to make sure that you're not missing things, that you're not, not planning poorly and don't have enough time to kind of do one thing to the next. So again, planning takes a lot of work. For something like this, it was hours and hours of time planning to get all of this lined up. And it wouldn't have happened if it had just been up to me. So again, I think one of the logistical hurdles that a lot of people have, and even thinking about this, I just don't have time to plan all this. That sounds awesome. I'm glad that, this thing worked out for you guys. It sounds cool. I don't have time to do that. there are people on your team that might really enjoy planning something like this. I know that there are a couple of people at our office that event planning, it may feel very stressful in the moment. And so if you ask them at the wrong time, they might be like, I'm never doing that again. But I think with Maya, this is something that I think she actually did enjoy the process of getting this all lined up. It's something of an accomplishment, and you see kind of the joy that you're bringing to others. So there are people I think that really get a kick out of fine tuning the details. And she just ran with it. I gave some kind of basic thoughts, but she ran with it and really just did an incredible job. So if you've got somebody on your team that can help with something like this, that is, I would say, a huge deal to be able to take advantage of that. Fifth and kind of last point is build in breaks. In the past, and I've planned some of these things, and I have stacked every activity, whether it's kind of a marketing focused retreat that we've done or more of a vacation retreat that we've done. I've kind of built everything one on top of the next. And Maya did a really good job of kind of building in breaks. We did a lot of outdoors physical activities in the hot July sun in Gastonia and Charlotte. And so I know multiple people took naps both days of the retreat, kind of away from each other. My thought is, hey, if we're only going to get together in person a couple of times a year, and at the retreat, that's like the main time that we're getting together, I want to maximize that time. So I don't want to waste any space. I don't want to, we got to be doing something every second of the day. And that's insane. So glad that I wasn't in charge of organizing this. Build in breaks if you're going to do a multi-day retreat so that your team members can have time to recover, then come back together in the next activity. And you kind of don't have people at the end of their kind of emotional rope, exhausted at every single event after the first couple of sessions that you do, or at the first couple of activities that you do. You don't have everybody just hitting burnout. Like, I think at a lot of retreats, whether they're business retreats, whether they're, family vacations, whatever it might be, you don't build enough breaks, things can go bad. So Maya did a great job of just kind of giving us some recovery time between our events. And I feel like every time that we came back together, we were fresh, ready to share, ready to engage one another. And so that was a real value point for us in this retreat. So kind of final takeaway from this point is, closing thought, spend some time with the people that you work with outside of work. Spend some time. And if you're already doing that, kudos. If you've got ways to kind of take that to the next level, I'd encourage you to do that, because it really is in these personal connections that we're building with people in our office space that I feel like the best service for our clients can really come from. I mean, when you have one another's back, when you feel like other people at the office know you as a person, care about you as a person, when you feel like other people at the office have your back, that is a massive stress relief in terms of engaging with a client, planning for a case, dealing with whatever is on the agenda for the day. You've got people that are there to support and get you through those difficult moments. So, I don't want to get too woo-woo, but the emotional high that I am floating on after this retreat is real. And, there were a couple of really great kind of business takeaways from the retreat. There's some ideas that I have from individual conversations that I had that weren't forced. This wasn't anything that we sat down and had like a planning session, but just individually talking with a couple people, I was like, man, that's something that we should absolutely be doing. This is something that we need to kind of incorporate into our planning process. So there are some good business building thoughts, I think, that just organically occur at these events where you're outside of the office, you're in your kind of creative brain focus, you're not kind of stressed out moving from one call to the next. We kind of like shut down our the people at the retreat pretty much were disconnected from work for the most part. So it's helpful because you just have that stress-free zone. But beyond that, and more importantly than that, engaging with people on that personal level and building those personal connections is so huge in terms of being able to feel that connection with your teammates, being able to feel like you need to go to bat for your teammates. It's a humongous emotional lift. And again, maybe you come down from that high when you get back from the retreat, but there is a emotional connection point that doesn't go away. There is things that you're learning about other people that just doesn't go away as a result of the retreat ending. And I'm telling you, it'll change the dynamic of your office environment. So get out of the office, do something fun with your team. Hopefully it will be similar to the experience that we had in Gastonia this past weekend, which was phenomenal. Look forward to speaking with you next time. If you found the information in this podcast to be valuable, I simply ask that you pay it forward and share this podcast with another member of the legal community. Also, if you would leave us a rating or a review on whatever platform you're listening on, I would greatly appreciate it.